Hi, my name is Juana, and this is my podcast called The Sound Effects of How Music Moves Society. From vinyl hits to viral hits, the podcast is going to kind of explore how music as a medium itself shapes emotions, economics, and so much more. When music first started coming up, music was seen as one of the oldest forms of communication, whether that would be used for rituals, storytelling in different cultures, and even in celebrations. Think of weddings, bar mitzvahs, even quinceañeras, whatever may come to mind. As the media slowly started to transform, in the year of 1877 was the first playback device that was called a phonograph. Later on, in 1920s to about the 40s, I would say, came along the radio era. That had consisted more of being a mass media for people. They were able to listen to their radio, whether they be at home, whether they be at work. This was something that was very easy for them to listen to. Now, if we go forward just a tad bit more, hang in there with me. 1981 was when MTV had finally came along. This had allowed for people to see their music videos. It allowed for the market to start booming, and rather for just the artist to be known as their name, it allowed the artist to have this quote unquote look for them. For example, Beyonce. She's known for her name, but she's also known for her long, gorgeous hair, her nice, good performances. Now, in the 2000s, we're speeding up a little bit more. This is when streaming came along. So think about Spotify, think about iTunes, think what else is there? Apple Music. This had allowed for global access to people, whether they be at home, whether they be at work. They were to change their music at a touch of a button, whether that be on their phones, their iPads, their laptops, whatever they may be. Now, like everything else, music had a way with freedom of speech. It allowed artists to talk about their experiences with stuff, whether that be with politics, their pain, their lives, whatever they had wanted to express themselves as. So with that came with some pros and some cons. Now, not everything about music was great. It had its downs. Getting into that, some of the pros about music is that it allows for moods to be enhanced, allows for emotional health to be better, such whether that be music therapy or other kinds of things people may use it for. You also got to remember, it promotes cultural exchange and identity. I feel as identity is such a big thing when it comes to music. Now, some cons. When it comes to the lyrics can really reinforce some stereotypes, whether that kind of be racism or other kinds of things. It can also lead to misinformation, whether, let's say, a viral song spreads a rumor about someone and it just gets out of hand. Now, after doing some research, exploring music influence on society and culture by Leah Peltra explains how music affects our moods, our beliefs, even behaviors. Music is like a very powerful social movement that can challenge us to be either a part of the status quo or we can change the status quo, but also allows us to bring us all together across different countries, different cities, you name it. Now, the article really touches on the key point that music can be reinforced with negative stereotypes or promote harmful messages, but it also depends on its content. It's not always going to be negative stereotypes. We might listen to some positive stereotypes, but it's not always going to be negative. So with that, we're going to make our way over to money and profit. Yes, we all know that making music and becoming famous, especially a singer, can make you millions of dollars. Now, the traditional way of making music was through album sales, concerts, even merchandise, tour merch, whatever it was. But as the music we listen to now gets more modern, streaming services like Apple Music, even Spotify, TikTok even, can be used in sponsorships. Now, a major income source for singers is really through TV shows, whether that be ads or music in the movies or shows or things like that. And we can see this especially through TikTok. Now, after doing a little bit of research, I came across an article by Forbes that's called The Economics of Music Streaming and the Role of Music Streaming Platforms. While reading this article, I realized that it really emphasized that streaming platforms are not just tech services. They're kind of like gatekeepers of culture, or as well as algorithms to shape what music actually is becoming popular. Now, this is linking into my media theory, which I had chosen uses of gratification theory. But before we jump ahead to that, I also wanted to comment on how the article also did mention that artists earned a fraction of a cent per stream, which often requires almost millions of plays in order for the artist to actually make any kind of income. So through this way, it had created new challenges for musicians. Now they have to be able to promote their music even more to be able to get a fraction of a cent. Now, as I mentioned, the uses of and gratification theory is my media effects theory. This relates to the Forbes article through streaming platforms allowing us as people to be exposed to certain playlists or algorithm kind of suggested playlists when it tells you, oh, I think you'll like this. This is them giving us choices to be influenced. When looking at Understanding Media and Culture in the 2020s, our textbook by Jack Liu, he tends to suggest that as the audience, we are listening actively towards the media we want to listen to, but we're not fulfilling that social need, whether that be entertainment or emotional release or even being social. It's not just quite the same thing as being out talking to people or out getting a drink with someone. He also tends to mention that when it comes to us picking music, we want to listen to something that matches our mood or either shifts our mood. If we're in a bad mood, we want to listen to happy music so we can feel better. Or if we're in a sad kind of mood, we want to listen to hyper music. Now, music can be seen through advertising and PR stunts or public relations, if you want to call it as well, through brands using catching songs to be able to get it stuck in people's heads. So then later on, we're able to say, oh, I know that song. I bought this product from them because I heard this song and I thought it was cool. Now, that has been an explanation of cross promotion. For example, Beyonce and Levi jeans. Beyonce did a Levi jean commercials with the company while using her song. Or a more simpler way is the artist being themselves as the brand. So with that, as it comes towards the future, I think we will slowly start to see more AI generated music. Even though I have seen some music out there that's been AI generated, artists aren't too happy with that. One, because it takes money away, and two, it's not their original work. But even then, I still think that music's going to become less lyrics and more reflection generated. Like if you want to meditate, it's going to be more like instrumental or hums or such things like that. But lastly, what I want to mention is that next time you're listening to music, don't just listen to the music. Listen to the rhythm, the lyrics, what it means, what those beliefs mean to you. So with that, thank you.